What's going on, guys? I just got this in today from David down at Classic Automotive NC or North Carolina. This is a tray type kit for a 24F battery. Now, the battery size is a bit more robust than what you would usually put on a Honda Element. Don't ask me the specifics of what I have at the moment. I just know that it's whatever usual crap you buy at the AutoZone or Advanced Auto when you're just needing a battery. Needless to say, here in the Northern Virginia area, we had a pretty nasty winter and had pretty significant cold temperatures, actually colder than parts of Norway that we went to. And my engine, for the most part, or my battery, for the most part, held up surprisingly well. But it's now starting to show its wear and tear and age. I'm starting to notice issues with it. So I decided after seeing this install kit that David put together that it might be something worth looking into. And worst case is I just have a stronger battery and I just chug along like normal and don't have to replace it, as soon as the cheaper ones. But in order to do that modification, you got to do a slight modification really to the inside of the battery area. And I'll probably go over that once I get the battery in the mail. But I got this in today. It's just a tray kit that he put together. Yeah, so I mean it's very straightforward. You got your tray right here. You have the topper cap, if we want to call it, that holds that you sandwich the battery down, and you use the similar style little threaded rods with a little hook that slide in here. And he uses, if you just watch my video about the console install, we have the rib nuts again. And I believe these are actually M6 style rib nuts. M6 sized bolts with the appropriate size rib nut to use. And a little baggie right here. There's some more hardware. Even looks like you got some little rubber caps for the threaded rods to make it a little less jagged to handle. So no, it looks pretty simple. David had put a really good video out on the installation. The one thing I wasn't really expecting was just how heavy, or actually how hefty, this stuff. Like this piece alone, it's almost like 2 pounds, 2 or 3 pounds just by itself. It's actually pretty heavy. The tray itself is it's very robust, and I don't have any concerns about this having any issues as far as durability. And I believe it is stainless steel all around, so that should mean no rust either. And that's a great thing, especially for where I'm at up north. I would say go watch this video if you're interested, for sure, for install. I'm going to cut to when I do the installation myself here. But basically, you go in there, you pull the old little plastic little tray where the current battery sits, and there's going to be a metal like platform that exists. And I believe there's actually like 2 little walls that are sticking up that you have to actually bend backwards or sliding down to get this in here sitting correctly. Just mark the holes, or mark where the holes need to be on that existing metal platform. Drill them out for the M6 size rib nuts, and I believe that's the 23/64 size drill bit to make the proper size hole for them. And just rib nut them down. And then you put this in there, you screw them down, you bolt it down, and you put your battery in. It's really easy. And I think the most difficult part would just be putting the holes in, or maybe even bending those little flaps down. So I guess we should go on to the install. Okay, guys, the battery is now in, and I have everything laid out that I might possibly need for this. It's a very simple job. It should be a very simple job. But got my drill with a 23/64 drill bit for the pilot holes for the rib nuts. Got my ratchet set for, obviously need that. And the kit, rib nut tool, and this is the battery that I arrived today. I didn't realize these were considerably heavy. This is a chunker. This is about a 46-pound battery that we're going to stick in here. So you see my old one right there. Seen better days. Obviously the bracket that holds it all together. So we're going to take everything out and get started. So it's got the battery out, and you can see the size difference right here. This is the 51R size battery, which is, I guess, standard for OEM Honda, and the 24F. Big boy. So yeah, just got this out. Obviously this is popped right out. Really, really nasty. And here's the main tray. So, remembering back from the video that Dave put out, these are the little wings right here that need to be flattened out a bit to get the tray to sit right. So, get a hammer and start going. Start thwacking. Okay guys, just heads up. This was the hardest part of the whole freaking operation, was getting these, here, let me pull the tray back out here. Those tabs on the sides, or the wings, whatever you want to call them, bending them down was kind of a pain in the ass, just because there's not a whole lot of room. I guess if you really were motivated enough to get them as flat as possible, you can pull out the air box, or the air box right here, and then obviously the intake right there. But yeah, and it's not a whole lot of room to work with, so I had to improvise using a combination of screwdrivers, the little retaining piece of metal that came with a kit, even, because it's solid steel. And yeah, that was not a fun process, and I'm sure my wife is pissed off. But I think I got it to a point where we can move on to the next step, which is I'm sure if David decides to watch this video later on, he might be like, this guy's a fucking idiot. He did specify to make sure that the corners weren't touching the radiator hose over here, especially that, but that you want to have as much contact as possible on each four corners. And although not exactly 100% down on all sides and the two up here, however, I think it's within tolerance here for me to get some bolts down, or the rib nuts in place. These two are definitely flat right here in the bottom. This one's, like I said, they're within range, so to speak, if you're doing it like I do. It should be fine. But yeah. So the next thing was just marking the holes I want to put in here. Now these two I'm not as so concerned about, but just making sure, if you look at the, if you're actually doing this in person, then you'll be able to see that the plate itself that we're mounting this to has a bit of a stamped kind of impression into it, so not entirely flat across the whole thing. So you gotta be cognizant of that. And so, especially when putting rib nuts in, you don't want to put on an angle or like on an edge, so to speak, because that's going to impact how you be able to drive that rib nut in there. So that one on the bottom left is pretty flat in that area. Over here, because it's not exactly touching 100% to the surface, I marked a little bit up there just because that is the flattest surface within that hole. And then same here, pick the flattest part with regards, or with respect to the plate we're going to mount these to. So yeah, just, is it 100% right? Probably not, but it should work fine. Well, of course I can't do a job here without fucking up something, I guess. So I didn't realize that underneath there was this metal bracket that you can see right there extending out. And when I drilled the hole, guess what? Hit that. So I need to see how I can work around this. If not, I guess we'll be riding or dying with 3 bolts on the platform. So I couldn't really make it work over there. However, I did improvise, and I found a larger M8 style nut that decided to thread itself in the existing hole. Now I might lift up the corner a little bit on the battery, but rather have something there than nothing at all. Alright, got the battery in. Re-added the terminals, and I apparently broke that red cap. No big deal, it's just plastic. And the next part is just get this guy on here. I didn't mention because I had that extra little nut there. It is, well, it's better now actually. But I think once I have this clamped on there, it won't be really a big issue. But yeah. Alright, so it's in there. It's pretty rock solid now actually, even despite my little flub up. It's nice and taut. I was watching his video and I didn't, I caught the two pieces of hardware, the washer and it looks like the little spring washer. So I think I had to order right, and then the wing nuts, I'm assuming, are just there to help backstop the nut from coming out completely in case of vibration. So yeah, let's go crank up the engine, and hopefully I didn't screw that part up. I already did a cold start earlier, so let's try it again. Yeah, nice and quick. I mean, I was driving earlier. I got home from work and it's been pretty warm already, so I think the real test will probably be tomorrow morning after engine truly cools down and just can do a true cold start. So yeah, otherwise, aside from my little flub up there with the one hole, I can't entirely complain. The kit was pretty straightforward. It's a pretty easy job. Otherwise, I mean, the hardest part was whacking those little fins down. So I would say probably don't do what I do and wait till the evening to start thwacking with a big metal hammer, because you might piss off your neighbors maybe if you're in a more urban environment than I am, or your wife and child might be sleeping above you in the next room. So yeah, I'll definitely check out this kit if you're interested in doing a 24F mod. It wasn't anything that I thought was crazy, except for maybe the battery price. But hopefully it'll last me quite a bit longer than a normal one would. So yeah, thanks for watching.